Hello, so welcome everyone to part one of Team Elevate's Mother's Day mini series. So we've got part one tonight, we've got part two on Monday night, and then part three is the following Friday. So tonight we have got Jane, Leanne, and Cass from Team Elevate, who are all going to whip you up some tasty treats. And with no delay, we will get started. So Jane, you're going to kick us off. So off you
Hey
go.
everyone, I am going to do a different version of scones tonight, something we love doing in our Thermomix, and I'm going to do the cheese and bacon scones. So we are just going to get started. I already have my oven preheated to 220 and I've got my baking tray ready. Half a brown onion just cut into wedges. It's about 80 grams, so depending on the size of your onion. And I've got 200 grams of bacon, just cut into pieces. And I'm just going to put in some olive oil. Using the high heat mode from the TM6, we're just going to use our splash guard. So that is going to brown off my bacon and onions, and I'm going to throw over to Kaz, who's going to get started on hers.
Thanks, Jane. So tonight I'm making the quick fruit sponge. The recipe does use rhubarb, but in the tip section it does say you can use stone fruit or other seasonal fruits. But I've got plenty of rhubarb in the garden, so I've been out to pick some of that tonight. So to start with in the recipe, like lots of them, it reminds you to put the oven on. So I've got the oven preset to 180 now. And the first step is actually melting the butter, and I've pre-done that because I just wanted to I guess show how we can mill up our icing sugar, because I know this recipe asks for 150 grams of icing sugar, so I don't buy icing sugar anymore. I buy my raw sugar. So I'm actually going to skip over to our chop mode. So in the TM6 we have all our extra modes, and I love the chop mode because it takes the guesswork out of chopping up something or milling something, and also it means I don't have to flick over to my basic cookbook to look at that. So I'm just going to type in sugar into our chop mode, and that's actually going to bring up the time needed and the speed for milling this sugar. So I've got 150 grams here for the recipe, and it has already brought up that 15 seconds speed 10 that it is needed. So all we do is press set and follow that through. So really easy.
I'd love to see in the chat if anyone has used recipes using their high heat function. You know, love the sizzle in the TM6. I'd love to see any recipes you've made pop into the chat. It'd be lovely to hear what you're making. Have a go at that dust cloud. It's my favourite thing.
So just super easy. No point spending more money on refined sugars when you can just do it yourself in seconds. So I'm just popping that aside. And I'm doing it now because the next step is adding the eggs and the icing sugar. So it's really easy to now. I don't actually know why I'm setting aside, actually. Back to that. So because I've already melted the butter, we're going to skip that step. And adding our butterfly in to our bowl. And we've got 3 eggs. And then our icing sugar. But I do want to reserve a tablespoon of this sugar because I put in a little bit extra for when I'm coating the rhubarb a little bit later. So I'm just going to keep a tablespoon out and add our icing sugar back in there. And it's just going to mix it together for 2 minutes on speed 4. So while that's mixing, I've got my rhubarb that I've cut up here that I'm just going to stir in that extra tablespoon of icing sugar.
It's starting to smell good over at your place, Jane. I can see all the lovely steam coming out the top.
Yeah, it's a pity that Zoom cuts out some of the noises because the sizzle over here is all happening.
So you're just coating that rhubarb in that sugar, Kaz?
Sorry, yes, just slightly coating that. It doesn't take much at all for that tablespoon to coat that sugar, the rhubarb.
Anyone growing rhubarb? I have 2 plants in. Normally they're going like crazy, but this year they don't love me so much. So I don't know what I did wrong this year compared to last year, but they're not as happy as they should be.
Mine seem to thrive every time I harvest any. I think I could pick about 50 stalks at a minimum off mine at the moment and still have half a bush. So
okay. Maybe I just need to hack off a few of the outer ones and pray something happens miracle-wise in the middle then.
I think I'm going to be making this quite regularly, along with the Stephanie Alexander rhubarb cake, which is a favourite for making out of my rhubarb. So I've actually, my plan is to convert it so I can do it in grams and not have to use any spoons and things next time I make it.
Yep. Another good recipe if you're growing rhubarb is the stewed rhubarb with orange and strawberries. It's in one of the baby sections of the original cookbook, but it's absolutely delicious over porridge or just over muesli. It's really nice swirled through vanilla ice cream. So yeah, lots of good things to love about good old rhubarb.
I was going to say, and I think there's some rhubarb cocktails as well.
Oh, there's rhubarb champagne.
There's a rhubarb.
Jane. Remember that?
Yeah, there is. There's also a really good jam and the breakfast tart too, Sarah, with the blackberries and the rhubarb.
So that's it there. I don't want to tip it too much further and tip it out. But just such that nice, light, fluffy texture you get when you're making a sponge as well. And I'm just going to add that butter that I had melted earlier. The 150 grams of melted butter. And quick little mix for 3 seconds. I don't know who can mix that well, that consistently in 3 seconds. It means no lumps or anything. We're just going to take our butterfly out. And we've got 250 grams of plain flour. There. And also 2 teaspoons of baking powder. And 1 teaspoon of vanilla. I'm always a bit of a free pourer with my vanilla.
Does everyone know the lid on a vanilla container is actually a teaspoon?
No, but then I find I get drips dripping down the edge when I put the lid back on. And lastly is 60 grams of milk. And a pinch of salt. I don't know about you, but if you ever buy salt flakes and you get to see these cool little pyramids, check out how big this pyramid is. It's kind of cool. Anyway, side note, back with our lid on and speed for 5 seconds.
Righto. Jane, you up to the next part?
I am. I have finished with the bacon and onion. I'm just going to scrape around to the side so you can see some of that sizzle on the bottom.
Oh, that lovely caramelization.
If you can get past the steam. Push the rest of the bacon down the sides. We're just going to chop that up. It's just going to cut up the bacon and onion for 2 seconds.
I can see down the bottom there, Kaz is pouring out her sponge into a tin.
Yeah, so I don't have a rose gold one. I've just got my trusty Chef's Toolbox silicone slice tray. So I'm just going to pour it into that. The 20 to 30 centimetre sort of slice tin is required for this one. It'll be also great to do some little mini sort of ones as well. Could be
It
quite
works
cute.
well in cupcakes as well, Kaz.
Yeah. So I'm going to smooth that out, and then I'm going to top it with my rhubarb that I've stirred through that bit of icing sugar, and sprinkle over some raw sugar before I pop it in the oven. So it's a nice quick one, as the recipe said, the name says. It's only going to take 20 minutes, 20 to 22 minutes in the oven. So it's taken a whole of, what, 5 minutes to mix this together, if that. So you can whip one up in under half an hour.
It's nice to know too, you know, normally a sponge, you've got to whip all the egg whites and all of that. To just be able to throw it all in, whiz it all together, tip her out. I mean, it doesn't get much easier than that, does it? It's always a handy tip too, like if you're ever popping berries or any of those sorts of things, you can either coat them in a little bit of sugar or you can coat them in a bit of flour. What that does is stops the fruit just sinking like a stone to the bottom in your cake. So if people weren't aware of why you would do that or why you're asked to do that, that's why. It stops things sinking to the bottom. You can also do it with your choc chip bits or any of that if you're putting those in top of a cake and you want them to sort of stay across the top or where you pop them, give them a light little coating in either some sugar or some flour, and it will stop them from sinking to the bottom like a stone.
So, Kaz, are you ready to go in the oven?
Yes, I am. I'm just sprinkling on and then I'm going in the oven. So yeah.
Okay. I have chopped up the onion and bacon. We're just putting that aside. These scones, you can make gluten-free or you can make just with plain flour. So we're just going to, we don't need to wash the bowl or anything else. We're going to keep all those beautiful flavours in there and add our flour.
That would have to be one of my favourite tips or steps when it says do not wash the bowl.
It's always a bonus.
That's it, about to go in.
I'm hungry just watching you lot.
Okay. 3 teaspoons of baking powder. Who makes their baking powder in their Thermomix? Again, this is a great money saver. It makes a lot. And also you've got that option of then making sure it meets your dietary requirements and making it gluten-free if you need to for your household.
It's good money saver, the old baking powder. It makes an absolute heap of baking powder. It's literally just bicarb rice that you're milling down with rice flour and some cream of tartar. It's a nice, easy one.
Just adding a little bit of salt. I've got 120 grams of unsalted butter. So it's got flour, salt and butter in. We are going to put in just some cheddar cheese. So that's just cut in small cubes. 140 grams of cheese. You can add some chives like the recipe says, but some people in my household get a little bit suspicious when there are little green things in some of the time. So tonight I'm leaving them out. I know that wouldn't happen in Sarah's household. That's all right. Mix it the way it works. We're just going to chop all that together. You can't just see, it's just actually crumbed up all your cheese and your flours all together. I'm going to add 250 grams of milk. And we're going to just put that in the bacon and onion mixture.
Before I forget, I am just setting my timer on the Thermomix screen so that I can keep track of how long that has been in there. So great to pull down that little tab in the center of your screen and add on your timer for whatever it may be, whether something's resting for a certain amount of time or whether it's in the oven.
And my Thermomix is just now kneading our scones, only 30 seconds. It's one of the things I love about the Thermomix. With your scones, you're not going to over knead them because you're not going to overwork them at all. It was something that I wasn't going to try before I got a Thermomix, and now we make them the whole time. Lots of different variations on cookie dough too. So you can see that beautiful doughs all come together. I am going to just transfer that out onto my mat. So I've got an old style one, but you know, silicone mats are one of the host rewards that you can get from when you're hosting a demo with your guests. Just flour it up.
They're also part of the special gift with purchase at the moment as well, Jane.
Yes, thanks, Cass. Do you want to talk about that while I tip my dough out?
I sure can. So at the moment, until the 8th of May, you can get a special bundle with 3 of our favourite host rewards as a special gift for you. So you get the Duo mat set, which is the large mat, and also the smaller silicone mat that goes into the oven as well. You also get the 2.6 litre round Thermomix server, which is fantastic, not only for keeping food hot, but great for keeping ice cold when you're making cocktails as well. And then the third one is the kitchen toolkit. So these 3 bundled together are worth $344. So they're yours for free if you purchase before the 8th of May. So the toolkit is definitely one of my favourites because I have one in the caravan and in my car for one it's in my Thermomix bag, but great for just if you're down the park and you need some scissors, or if you're going away to a cabin, you know you've got some decent knives with you as well.
That's it there.
There's Leanne's got the toolkit. It's fantastic.
I've just put that on turbo mode just to get out the last bit of my dough. I want to make as many scones as I can. And I often just use my dough scraper too to get that last bit out. And I think, yeah, you can see this fairly easily. All I do, very rustic in this household, but we just pretty much flatten it out on our floured surface to about 1.5 centimetres thick. And then use your scone cutter. Now, the recipe wants you to use about a 9 centimetre scone cutter, and it makes about 10 scones. That doesn't go around in our household very well, so we often use a medium size. But today I'm actually going to use a tiny one and make a whole tray because we're going to take them to share with people tomorrow, and they're just nice little bite-sized ones. So literally just putting your scone cutter in, popping them out. You can see they are little mini. I am just going to use my rose gold baking tray with its oven liner, so it's all ready, and just pop them on there. I'm going to keep cutting those out while we throw over, I think, to Leanne.
Yep, Leanne's up next.
Okay.
Magic are you making tonight, Leanne?
So everyone that knows me, I like to have a little cocktail or two. So I'm doing an espresso martini. So there are 2 versions. I'm just going with the first one that popped up on Cookie Dough. So I have got a little variation on certain things, but I'm going to follow as the recipe tells me. So first ingredient is vodka. So 150 grams of vodka. And this makes 4, but I'm sure I'll probably only get 2 out of it. But
Yeah, because I'm coming over, Leanne. You only thought you were getting those to yourself.
Well, you know, there's plenty of vodka to go and make another batch.
Sounds like a solid plan.
Okay, so next we've got 120 grams of Kahlua. Make sure I've got enough in there. Oops, that's about 130, but you know, this will taste a bit more like Kahlua. I also have, for anyone that wants to do this at home and haven't tried, this is a coffee liqueur called Mr. Black. Quite expensive, but it's beautiful, and you sometimes can pop that in if you don't have, you know, quite as much Kahlua as you want, or you can just drink it straight and have a chaser with the cocktail.
Oh, yeah, I'm definitely coming.
120 grams of brewed espresso coffee cooled. So, you know, if you're on, you know, you like decaf or instant, anything, any type of coffee that you like, you can put that in. You can put like a flavored one, or, you know, whatever takes your fancy. And
I'm aware too, you can actually brew your own coffee in the Thermomix. You can grind down your coffee beans, add your water and brew your coffee. You can actually do enough for 10 serves of coffee at once in your Thermomix. I will put that recipe in the email that I send out once we've got this class loaded up as the recording. We will send that out as well. So you've got that just in case you want it.
excellent. So espresso is in, and 300 grams of ice cubes. Next. Now I've got to put my lid on with the measuring cup. Insert that. And lucky for you guys, hopefully this noise won't come through, but here in my kitchen is going to be very loud because those ice cubes are going to be crushed. So we're going up to speed 4.
Can't hear a thing. Do love the beauty of Zoom. So how long's your sponge got in the oven there, Kaz?
We have left around 10 minutes.
So it definitely is a nice super quick one. Jane's rolling out what looks to be 5,000 scones over there. She's got the cutest tray of mini scones I think I've ever seen.
I really did need to use the large tray, not the medium tray, but that's all right. We'll get there.
It's not
And
a
now I
bad
know
thing. Scones like to touch. So they actually, like a lot of recipes will say, sit them separated from one another.
No, they're touching. I figured it potentially if you're also dropping in at Leanne's. Lucky I made little ones in case you drop in to have a sample on the way.
I'd do the round trip, you reckon?
Yeah. Now, you can brush these with milk. You can also just leave them if you can't be bothered with that step. And we'll just brown them up a little bit more. Because I was doing a class, I thought I'd go fancy and brush them over. But I must admit, not often done. Sorry, Leanne.
So my cocktail's done, so I'll just be sitting back having a little drink. Now, I was just showing off my cocktail glasses, which I recently purchased, but the espresso doesn't really quite look as nice in that. So it looks quite fancy in a nice, you know, plain glass like so. I mean, there's not much in there, but there's a lot more in the bowl. So
the lovely foam on the top is what I like when it makes a lot of the cocktails in the Thermomix. You get that lovely foam settling across the top of your recipe. And in the background, I've just been silently working away because I have been rolling out Anzac biscuits.
Anzac biscuits.
Tomorrow's Anzac Day. It would be a bit of a crime if we weren't making some Anzac biscuits in the class the night before Anzac Day. Hope you've all got yourselves set for a nice early start for a dawn service or a service of some sort through the day. I'm about to pop these in the oven. They don't take long at all, about 10 or 15 minutes. And
I'm going to pop those in as well. 2, 4, 5, 5, 10, 15, 25, 30, 40.
40
40.
little mini
What?
scones. That is a fantastic
They're
size.
very mouth size, but they work really well in the grazing box if you're going to take them places, because people, when you're doing a share plate, they're not too big to actually be able to manage. But also go ahead and make the big ones when it's just for you guys. So I'm just going to pop those in the oven.
Righto. So while I'm popping these in the oven, Kaz, would you like to go through the rest of the host rewards so that everyone can see what else is available and talk about our lovely partnership with Oz Harvest?
Absolutely. Well, while I've got it here, I'm going to start at the top of the list because it's always often in my car to show people at demos. So we have a limited edition host reward, which has been extended for the second time because it has been so popular, is our new sensor. So it comes in this cute little caddy case. And what it is a Bluetooth thermometer. But not only can you use it in your meats, steak, roasts, you can use it in any of your baking as well. So all it is, sits in your food, and it's got this great little attachment. So when you are doing some baking, it does sit on the side of your tin, depending on what size and shape your tin is. Sits on the side of your tin and sits in your baking. So a lot of the recipes now are actually being integrated with the sensor. So one of my favorite banana breads, which is probably lots of people's favorite banana breads, now has the option to use the sensor when cooking it. So it means that you can be out of the house, out in the garden, and have the sensor on the Thermomix screen, but also on the Cooking Center app on your phone, and the sensor will actually tell you when it's ready. And also with the meats, it will tell you how long to rest it for as well. So huge savings when hosting a demonstration. If you have a guest that purchases, you can get this from $249 down to just $49. Or if you're still hosting a demo, you still get it discounted as well. So that's a brand new one we have at the moment until the 4th of June. And it's got its little charging case that it pops in there. So amazing that it has been extended for a second time. We also have our ones that we've always had, our thermo servers. We've got our round 2.6 litre, our oval 2.5. So great for serving different things. If you've got a bit of a banquet happening on your table, great to keep those sort of things warm. And we also have our round 2.2 litre. Here. This is a great little one designed to fit in the Varoma. So it means you can do a big batch of yogurt in your Varoma, and then you just take this out and put it straight in your fridge. Great for salads and all sorts of things as well, but designed to fit in the Varoma because it's that little bit shorter than the other thermo servers. Got our blade cover peeler. I use this regularly, especially doing my peeling garlic. What else have I got? Our glider boards. Who wouldn't love a glider board for discounted or even free, especially new Thermomix owners? It means you can move around your Thermomix on your bench easily without having to lift it up and saving your scales. So you can get the black or the white, depending on which you prefer. What else have we got? Toolkit is also a host reward, which is fabulous. So normally $120. You can get that discounted for $30 or even free. What have I forgotten? I don't have it in front of me, but I think I've covered most things.
The blade cover peeler also comes with the digital ebook
Yes.
for the smart digital cooking bike. So it partners up with the blade cover peeler. As the girls were saying earlier as well, the essentials bundle that comes with your Thermomix when you're investing in one at the moment contains 3 of the actual host rewards. So you might actually choose to just take a fun year of cookie do for free. As that,
So that's the last one that we didn't have.
Yeah, one of the host rewards. So the other fabulous thing about hosting at the minute is Thermomix have partnered with Oz Harvest. So anyone who books a cooking experience up until the 15th of May, Thermomix are donating 20 meals to Oz Harvest. So It's a really fabulous cause. If you haven't considered hosting a demo so far, I'm sure 20 people would be extremely grateful that you've decided to have a couple of friends over and potentially a batch of espresso martinis. If Leanne's rocking up to your house, you might get the same with some of us too. We're a bit all like-minded here in this team, but quality control, Leanne, I can see that going on back there in the corner. So, you know, there's lots of fabulous reasons at the moment to be hosting a cooking experience, and, you know, partnering with Oz Harvest and having the opportunity to help those who are less fortunate than others is a really fabulous thing to be able to do. So that's totally, you know, a fabulous reason to be hosting a cooking experience. So reach out to your consultant if you haven't already. I'm sure they would love to have a chat and book you in at the minute. So has anyone made any of these recipes before? Please unmute yourself while we're waiting for a few things to cook in the oven, and to distract myself from, you know, watching Leanne sip on that lovely drink that I would love to be sharing with her right at the minute. So unmute yourself. We'd love to have a chat. What have you been making in your Thermomix? Does everyone have a Thermomix? Does everyone have a TM6? I'd love to know what model Thermomix you've got. So unmute yourself or type in the chat. We'd love to see what you've got.
I have a 31 and a 6 at the moment.
A 31 and a 6, Pam?
Yes. Yes.
Did you take part in the trade-up offer we had just recently?
Yes.
So
I
you've
did.
got to keep your 31. How a bit
Yeah,
razzle-dazzle was that?
Very good. Excellent. And my stepdaughter was saying, what are you doing with your old one? Oh,
Nothing
well,
you can have.
we might give it to someone in the family. And she said, oh, someone with a small kitchen. I said,
Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. Yeah, that's fabulous to hear. I'm glad you managed to take advantage of that special. Who else has a Fanny? What would you like to share?
Oh, me? Sorry?
No, anyone.
Oh.
Anyone type in the chat? It's not always able to unmute. Sometimes it's hard. We've got people and kids in the background. I've got 2 cats running around like crazies at the minute. Dana, what model Fanny have you got?
Just told my husband to turn the TV down because he had the footy going. I think I've got a 6.
Nice big screen like what the girls have on the screen?
Yes.
I think you're on a 5, Shana.
Oh, have I got a 5?
Maybe. But we can sort out a 6 for you.
No, that I've got what you've got. Is that
Have
what
you got the
is that
videos on the screen?
videos?
Yeah, does it play videos?
No, I've got the 5
Yeah,
then.
I think you before. That's all right. I'm going to come and show you.
I've done the espresso martinis before.
Perfect.
I am a sucker for a cocktail, so
What are your other favourites?
I do like doing all the paste.
Yeah,
Like chicken stock paste. Yeah. Yeah, I do a lot of, is it the tikka masala one paste?
Yep.
I make my own relish too.
Oh, yum.
That's like well, it doesn't really last long, but I do it heaps over Christmas because I give them as gifts.
fabulous. Fabulous idea. And how easy is it to just put a batch on and then go do something else, whether
that's the best thing about it.
But
I've got an 18-month-old and I was renowned for burning things, but I don't burn in the thermi.
that is so fantastic. That's a really good benefit.
And also the thermi sterilizes bottles too. So I do that as well. Well, I still sterilize now.
That's using your Varoma up the top.
Yeah.
Good work. Very good. It also acts as a microwave in some aspects. Like I don't own one of those, so I reheat all our meals using Varoma. So yeah, that's another aspect. So if you're steaming,
how do you do it?
Literally 500 of water in the bottom, I just put things on for 20 minutes because that's a nice amount of time for me to walk away and go do something else. On
Yeah.
Roma, speed 4. So
And you
just
often
put your
just
bowl up the top.
put it in your bowl in the Varoma, don't you, Sarah? Yeah.
Yep. And just put a bit of Glad wrap over the top so you don't get condensation dripping down in. Just depends what it is that you're reheating. Sometimes I don't bother. Depends what it is that we're reheating up. Yeah.
That's good to know because I don't really. I'm not a fan of the microwave, but I do it.
No. Yeah. Can't stand them. But alternatives. You know, it's not the 2-minute whiz that a microwave is, but by the same token, you're not standing there doing anything. You can just go about your day. So 20 minutes, Varoma, speed 4. Works exactly the same. Reheat.
Perfect.
Good to go. Susan, I can see you've unmuted yourself. What Sammy have you got?
I've got a TM6. It's I've only had it for a few weeks. So I've cooked a few risottos in it. They've been lovely. Not great success with scones, sorry. I tried that. They were a bit dry. So I'll have another go at that.
Which recipe did you use, Susan?
Sorry?
Which recipe did you use?
I don't know one out of cookie dough. I mainly just use cookie dough. I'm not brave yet to do things by myself. So I just bought some lady from Tasmania's book, and what's her name? I'm just trying to think what her name was.
That's my timer going. I'm just going to go grab some Anzac biscuits out of the oven while you ladies chat.
And she does it all freestyle. Sort of, just knows what to do with everything, but I'm not that brave yet.
Oh, you're new, so that's fine. That'll come.
Yeah, so I've made a couple of different pastes, and I made a cake. I made the carrot cake and did it in little ones, and that came out really, really nice with the cream cheese frosting and that. So I've done, a fair bit. And the only thing I didn't like was soup, because I've always roasted my vegetables first and that. But someone said to me, we'll just roast it, then do it in the Thermomix. So I might try that next time. But no, it's been getting a working out.
Perfect.
Someone's just said that Thermogroove is in Tassie. Is that?
Yes, that's it. Thermogroove, yes. So, she does lots of things. And as you're talking about that high temperature before, she'll say, I'll log into this recipe so you can get access to it. And because if you're not using cookie dough, but I haven't done that yet. So.
Yeah, it just allows you to do a bit of freewheeling instead.
Yeah. So as I get more confident with it, I'll try that, hopefully.
And in regards to doing the soup, you totally can just roast all your veggies like normal. If you're not roasting your onion and garlic, which is yum, so I would. If you're roasting everything else, you may as well chuck those in too. It allows you to skip that sauteing step from the recipe, but you just pop all your veggies once they're roasted into the Thermomix, add your water, your tablespoon or 2 of your homemade veggie stock, and then you can literally just bring it up to temperature. So you can just set the timer for 15 minutes, 100 degrees, speed 1 or 2, and then you can easily puree that at the end.
Yes.
So you're just bringing the water up to temperature with your veggie stock paste and really cooking those veggies through. So when you go to puree it, it's just delicious.
Yeah, after they're done in the oven though, because I like them all very brown and that, and do the whole clover, garlic. They're all pretty well cooked, so they don't need long in the Thermomix.
No, it's just a matter of bringing that water up to temperature. So the first 8 minutes, if you've got a litre of water, is generally bringing it up to the boil.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
With the temperature probe, are there instructions on how to use it for different types of cakes and meat and this and that?
Yes, Pam, it's all built into the screen of the Thermomix. It'll show you a little video of how to insert it, and it tells you exactly what to do with it.
I mean, if you're using a recipe, not a cookadoo one, if you're using your own recipe.
Yeah, you just look up the instructions for a cookie dough one.
A similar one.
Tell you what to do, but it's very basic. Like we literally just get your sensor, if I just grab mine off the top of the oven, it's got a little mark, a notch on it. If I lift it up so you can see, there's a little notch. So you insert that into the thickest part past the notch. So it's sitting in, for example, like that. If you had it in a wet cake or the like, you actually insert it through one of the holes on the side, and then that sits on the side of your cake tin. So your cake tin slides up into that groove, and then your probe is still sitting in your cake or whatever wet dish is that you've got. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah.
I'll bring mine tomorrow too, Pam, so we can have a look.
Thanks, Jane.
And the app works well if you don't know, if it's not linked to a recipe and you're just doing it for a meat or something on the barbecue, the app works to pick your choice. So we can go through that because it's just, I don't think you'll be able to see it on my, I don't know how to make apps bigger on my phone. It's too hard.
Don't worry.
I think my scones are nearly cooked. How's your cake going, Kaz?
Yeah, I'm done. But if you go into the sensor on your Thermomix screen, so in the mode screen, if you click on sensor, you can actually pick cakes and all your meats and things. So, for instance, if you choose cakes, it's got a range of different cake options because they're going to have different internal temperatures. So you've got your fruit cakes, your pound cakes, your dried fruit cakes, or your soft scented cakes. Or if you then go into your different meats, you pick, is it a you've got breads as well. So you pick, all right, I've got a lamb, I've got a shoulder roast, and it's really specific and how you'd like it cooked, so medium rare or whatever. So it's got lots of different options to pick from just on that screen in the sensor mode.
Thanks for that.
Oh, that's right. I was going to say there's about 20 different types of fish that you can pick from as well.
Ah.
Yeah. Yes. There you go. So we all know you don't like dry, overcooked fish.
No.
Yeah. So anyway, back to the cake.
Well, they look like Anzac cakes.
The Lanzac Vicky's on the go.
So, and that's the sponge there. I'm going to get it out and put it on a wire rack afterwards, and I'm going to dust it with some icing sugar as well.
That looks so lovely, Kaz.
Smells delicious.
Rhubarb in it?
Yes, rhubarb. So that was roughly, so it's 300 grams of rhubarb. So that was roughly 4 decent stalks. Yeah. Depending on how thick your stalks are.
Okay,
And
thanks.
Jane's scones have popped out of the oven. They're ready to go.
So they're my 40-odd scones.
They look so
but
cute.
they're very easy. So Susan, we'll have to exchange some scone recipes or get your consultant to see how we can get them working better for you.
Yes, I'll have to give it another try. I'd like to try the savoury ones.
I'll also send through another recipe, Susan, that I've been making, I don't know, 16 years or whatever now. It came my first cookbook that came with my Thermomix. Can't go past the buttermilk scones out of that book. They are absolutely delicious. So, and really easy to do, just like Jane did. I don't even bother pressing them down. I just tip out the mix, smush the edges together, and literally just use my circle cutter to cut them. Just keep pushing it back together. Cut, cut, cut. Delicious. Big, fat, fluffy scones.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah. So definitely give her another go. You know, it is hit and miss. There are different flavours and things. There's a breakfast scone recipe on Cookie Doo that I made once and went, never, ever again. I actually rated it 1 star just so I could never accidentally make it again. So, yeah, because we all have the flavours that we like and the textures that we like, and to me, a scone should be a big, fat, fluffy thing. Even if it's the savoury one, you know. I mean, those bite-sized morsels, it's pretty good, but I still like a big fat muffin.
You can have a whole row.
Butter.
You can have a whole row.
I might come and do an Anzac biscuit trade-off, I think. So, I mean, that's it, everyone. I mean, 45 minutes, we've managed to whip up a beautiful batch of savoury scones, a lovely quick fruit sponge, a batch of Anzac biscuits. I've got about 30 something biscuits going on over here at the minute. And Leanne's probably drunk an entire batch of espresso martinis at the rate we've been going. So thank you all for coming. I hope you've picked up the recipes out of the chat box as I've been popping them in there. If not, don't stress. I will actually be including the recipe link to the entire collection of all the recipes that we're making across the next few nights of our mini series. You will then be able to click on the link in the email and actually save our entire collection into your cookie do, if that's what you'd like to do. So you'll get the recipes in advance for Monday and Friday's classes. So how does that sound?
Great. Thank you very much. They were beautiful recipes.
Oh, we hope you've all enjoyed yourselves. We've loved showing you just a few things that you can easily whip up or yell instructions from the couch, make the kids cook up or the grandkids, so you get a nice treat on Mother's Day. It's been lovely having you all. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.